Late last night, under the glare of studio spotlights and global live streams, David Hasselhoff shattered decades of myth with a single sentence: Knight Rider was a lie. For 40 years, he stood as the face of the one-man crime-fighting crusade riding in a self-aware supercar, KIT. Fans believed in that futuristic partnership, KIT's sarcastic wit, Hasselhoff's lone hero persona, the promise of roads patrolled by artificial intelligence. Tonight, the man who vanquished countless villains on screen finally admitted the truth behind the legend. What you thought you knew about the show, the high-tech voice commands, the seamless stunts, even the moral crusade, was more fiction than fact, and the real story is far richer, darker, and stranger than any script. Premiering in 1982, Knight Rider captured the imagination of households worldwide. It wasn't just a campy action series. It sold a vision of the future where technology and humanity fused for good. Michael Knight, an ex-cop reinvented by a secret organization, partnered with an indestructible car powered by an experimental microprocessor. Viewers tuned in every week to watch Hasselhoff bark orders at a dashboard glowing with pulsating LEDs. KIT, initiate pursuit mode. KIT, execute turbo boost. They cheered as the black Trans Am Outran chases defied laws of physics and delivered justice. Behind the scenes, production notes touted authentic AI and state-of-the-art computing. Merchandise flooded shelves, talking car toys, branded jackets, even bed sheets printed with a grinning Hasselhoff behind KIT's steering wheel. The legend of Knight Rider seemed bulletproof, impervious to skepticism, until tonight. Over the years, fans speculated about the show's secrets. Rumors abounded that KIT's AI was more than flashing lights and pre-recorded quips, that real quantum computing had powered those iconic exchanges. Tech magazines ran deep dives, declaring Knight Rider on the cutting edge of science fiction made real. Yet skeptics questioned why KIT's AI always responded so fast, with such perfect timing, as if an unseen human operator flipped a switch behind the scenes. Conspiracy theorists pointed to production leaks hinting at human voiceovers. Even an engineer named in show credits whose real task was pressing a hidden keyboard. Hasselhoff's own interviews carefully danced around these allegations, praising KIT's performance without revealing the truth. Tonight, however, he cleared the air, confessing that the show's signature feature was, in reality, a carefully orchestrated illusion. The microprocessor that guided KIT was merely a prop, and every snide remark followed a scripted cue played to Hasselhoff through an earpiece. The glow of the dashboard came from custom-built lighting rigs, not from any onboard thinking machine. That admission ignited a storm. Within minutes, social media erupted with shock and excitement. Hashtag KNIGHDRIDRLI trended on Twitter. Fans shared memos from the original writer's room, and tech bloggers scrambled to analyze vintage episodes for evidence of fakery. Nostalgia clashed with betrayal as devoted viewers questioned every cherished KIT exchange. Did that heartfelt, "I am the voice of Knight Industries" line carry genuine gravitas, or was it just another rehearsed take? Meanwhile, science podcasts invited experts to discuss the gap between on-screen AI promises and the low-tech reality of 1980s television production. Industry veterans nodded. The confession validated long-held suspicions. Writers admitted that the show's scripts often strained scientific plausibility in favor of drama. Directors revealed how car chases depended more on camera tricks than vehicle innovation. Producers confessed to budgetary shortcuts, using a single KIT model for multiple builds, swapping body panels between stunts, and masking overheated engines with cleverly placed smoke machines. Beyond production fakery, Hasselhoff addressed the show's moral messaging. For decades, Knight Rider was celebrated for its emphasis on justice, redemption, and technological progress. In promotional interviews, Hasselhoff extolled KIT's compassion, arguing that the car's AI had genuine empathy. Tonight, he admitted those moments were crafted to sell ideals rather than reflect real innovation. Producers had instructed writers to infuse every line with ethical weight, masking the absence of authentic AI with grand moral rhetoric. In confessional footage, Hasselhoff appears wistful. "We sold people dreams. We claimed to have advanced machines that could change humanity, but it was all in service of entertainment." He paused, eyes downcast. "I believed in it, and so did you." but the lie was necessary to keep the fantasy alive. Stay tuned as we unpack every startling detail in this revelation. Within minutes of Hasselhoff's confession, the internet erupted. Social media users flooded Twitter with the hashtag Knight Rider revealed, dissecting every car chase and dialogue exchange for hidden clues. Die-hard fans posted side-by-side comparisons of original scripts and final cuts, noting barely perceptible pauses when Hasselhoff waited for off-camera cues. Tech bloggers published articles titled "Kit, Fact or Fiction" that trended on Hacker News and Slashed. Mainstream outlets, from Wired to The Verge, assembled roundtable panels of AI experts who lamented how the show misrepresented emerging computing research. Podcasts hosted epic debunkings segments dissecting the mechanics of the ruse, while late-night talk shows invited former crew members to share behind-the-scenes anecdotes. One writer quipped, "We watched a car pretend to think and loved every second of it." Inside soundstages and editing bays, Knight Rider veterans reacted with bemused nostalgia. Linda Harrison, a recurring guest actress, recalled hiding laughter as Hasselhoff listened to instructions whispered through an earpiece. Cinematographer Alan Litton described how Kit's LED display panel was rewired for each scene to sync with pre-recorded dialogue. Stunt drivers admitted they drove for Kit's sequences, extinguishing rumors that Hasselhoff had always been behind the wheel. Series composer Stu Phillips laughed at the notion that his synthesized theme was powered by an onboard supercomputer. Even showrunner Glenn Larson, appearing via video call, confessed he pitched the idea of real AI, but later acknowledged budget constraints made it impossible. "We sold the fantasy," he said, "because fantasies drive viewership." Engineers, prop masters, and sound mixers all testified to the elaborate fabrication that fooled viewers for years. The so-called Knight Rider microprocessor was, in truth, a custom fiberglass housing containing tape recorders behind Kit's dash. Dialogue files were queued and transmitted patchcord style to the earpiece worn by Hasselhoff, who practiced timed pauses so deliveries appeared spontaneous. Multiple Kit shell replicas hid sound technicians who adjusted lighting and swapped speakers to sync with Hasselhoff's prompts. For high-speed stunts, cameras were mounted on rigs that simulated velocity. Unseen on set, voice directors counted down with hand signals to cue Hasselhoff's reactions. Archive call sheets confirmed that dozens of technicians collaborated jokingly in a Kit Ops unit, recalibrating animatronic chrome accents and resetting ignition systems to preserve the illusion of a self-aware vehicle. This revelation also cast a new light on Knight Rider's ethical storytelling. Writers intentionally infused Kit's dialogue with robotic empathy to deliver moral lessons about courage and fairness. In one iconic episode, Kit's apology to a frightened child was designed to humanize AI and reassure parents that technology could be benevolent. Yet showrunners later admitted that these emotional beats served ratings as much as narrative depth. Psychologists who consulted on the series described how audiences formed attachments to a fictional, thinking car, influencing public perceptions of real AI developments for years. Schools even used Knight Rider clips to spark classroom debates on ethics and technology. Tonight's disavowal forces viewers to question how much of their own optimism about future innovations was shaped by a catchy theme song and a flashing red scanner light. Disappointment and fascination warred within fans. A subtler wave of reflection emerged. Nostalgic reunions and fan conventions now feature panel debates on the ethics of illusion in entertainment. Knight Rider fan clubs have launched crowdfunding campaigns to digitize original scripts and preservation footage, uncovering annotations that hint at earlier attempts to integrate rudimentary voice recognition hardware. David Hasselhoff's sudden candor has even sparked a surge in showrunner-era documentaries, exploring how 1980s television harnessed emerging technologies to create more than mere escapism. Streaming platforms have reported viewership spikes for retro episodes, while technology think tanks reference Knight Rider in white papers on AI ethics. Consider the irony. A series that presented itself as bleeding-edge tech now serves as a case study in fabrication and myth-making. Yet the romance persists. Tonight's revelation may rewrite the show's legacy, but it also rekindles the flame that brought millions to the screen. Proof that the power of story endures, Even when the core premise unravels, as we prepare to dive deeper into Making of Kit, upcoming segments will reveal interviews with cockpit crew, deep dives into specific episodes, and analysis of Knight Rider's lasting imprint on popular culture. What truly drove the magic and the illusion as the dust settles on the myth of Kit's genuine artificial intelligence? It is worth examining just how carefully that illusion was crafted. On set, the Black 1982 Trans AM hid a legion of hidden collaborators. Under the hood, sound technicians installed tape recorders to pipe pre-recorded dialogue, while strategic speakers nestled beneath the dash delivered Kit's voice crisply to the actor. Production assistants rigged the scanner bar with custom lighting clusters, synchronizing each red sweep with subtle cues from off-camera operators. The car's sleek body panels concealed mounts for wireless receivers, allowing Hasselhoff to sync his responses instantly. What viewers took for seamless banter was, in reality, an engineering feat of low-tech ingenuity. Each episode demanded intricate coordination. Before every scene, a voice director pressed half a dozen cue buttons in a control van parked just out of camera range. His fingertip movement launched Kit's iconic responses and occasionally overrode Hasselhoff's line readings when timing wavered. Hasselhoff trained rigorously to maintain pace, practicing with his earpiece in rehearsals until the rhythm of off-screen prompts felt natural. Camera operators learned to angle their lenses to mask crew members slipping inside Kit's frame to switch microphone packs. Prop masters maintained multiple dashboard replicas, swapping entire assemblies as possible failures loomed large under tight shooting schedules and syndication demands. One legendary example involved the episode Night of the Drones, in which Kit pursues a prototype robot through a warehouse. That nighttime shoot required 12 rewatches and dozens of lighting adjustments to conceal shifting crew positions. Score timings had to align precisely with Kit's affirmative and negative responses so that the audience remained enthralled. The scene became a case study in pre-digital filmmaking, teaching editors how to splice retreating actors with lag-free voice cues. In post-production, sound editors layered ambient noise and exhaust roars into the dialogue tracks, ensuring Kit sounded both alive and integrated with the car's mechanical heartbeat. On the writing front, scripts called for Kit to display empathy and wit beyond any real technology of the era. Writers researched early speech synthesis and conversational AI, then took creative liberties so exaggerated that experts later described the car's vocabulary as textbook overreach. Ethical quandaries, such as Kit refusing orders when human life was at risk, were inserted to deepen drama. These moral dilemmas anchored episodic plots, but emerged from narrative flair rather than actual programming. Though audiences believed they were witnessing emergent machine ethics, they were consuming a cleverly repackaged morality play. Fast forward to today, and the tale of Kit resonates more than ever. Modern AI chatbots and virtual assistants often employ scripted fallback responses when facing complex queries, echoing Kit's reliance on pre-recorded lines. Developers push new marketing campaigns touting breakthroughs in natural language processing, yet many systems still rely heavily on pattern matching and curated databases. The haze of hype around the first Knight Rider now finds a parallel in today's tech landscape. Flashy demos hide the human guiding every response. Kit's confession reminds us to question promises of genuine cognition and to remain skeptical of supposedly autonomous systems. Tech ethicists weigh in. Some argue Knight Rider's legacy deserves credit for inspiring a generation of engineers, even if its representations were false. Others caution that the series fostered unrealistic expectations about machine capabilities, setting back serious research when early AI startups struggled to match on-screen fantasy. Dr. Serena Marshall, an AI historian, notes that student enrollment in computer science programs spiked after Knight Rider's heyday, yet half of those cohorts later reported disillusionment with actual project work. This double-edged sword illustrates how powerful narratives can both ignite and misdirect innovation. Production crew members admit they felt guilty as the show gained momentum. A second-unit cameraman confessed, "We were creating a miracle on wheels, but we knew it was a trick. Sometimes I wondered if we were misleading loyal fans." Yet the alternative, truthfully revealing every cue, would have stripped the show of its magic. Hasselhoff describes his own epiphany upon reviewing unaired footage. I saw us at work, not as a pioneering AI project, but as a theatrical production that thrived on your suspension of disbelief. Forthcoming interviews will uncover kit operators' firsthand accounts and reveal control truck schematics, offering a glimpse into how 1980s craftsmanship informs today's genuine AI innovations. Behind the scenes, the true mechanics of Knight Rider came alive through interviews with veteran kit operators and control truck engineers who once orchestrated the illusion from hidden trailers just out of frame. Don Buck Thomason, the chief voice director, recalls huddling in a cramped van plastered with wires and blinking consoles, his fingertips dancing across a patch panel that triggered Kit's quips in real time. I felt like a DJ spinning magic tracks, Thomason says, yet every beat had to land exactly on David's cue. Across town, model maker Sandy Gleason describes how dashboard panels were hand-wired to LED banks that flashed in precise rhythms, each pulse choreographed to match lines recorded days earlier in a sound booth. The car's brain was no microprocessor but a human mind diligently pressing the right buttons. These first-hand accounts complement newly surfaced control truck schematics that reveal an elaborate network of video monitors, coaxial cables, and analog audio mixers. Studio diagrams, once buried in dusty archives, show how assistants synchronized lighting rigs with a central switchboard, ensuring Kit's scanner light pulsed identically in every take. One page even marks the precise seconds for each affirmative and negatory cue, accompanied by scribbled notes, long pause, add echo effect, or no delay, emergency override. Digital archivists have now cataloged these creased printouts, offering historians a rare window into 1980s television engineering. Contrasting this low-tech orchestration with today's AI breakthroughs creates a stark perspective. Where Kit's intelligence was a patchwork of human intervention, modern systems harness neural networks and cloud computing to parse language in milliseconds. Yet even contemporary chatbots sometimes rely on pre-scripted responses for edge cases, echoing the showroom trickery of the Knight Rider era. When AI pioneers tout fully autonomous agents, skeptics point to engagement metrics and offline fallback logic, reminding us that many cutting-edge systems still need the human hand on the switch. In this light, Kit's humility is almost prophetic, a reminder that the magic of screen technology often precedes real technological achievement. Between these revelations and the show's dramatic storytelling, Knight Rider's legacy has taken on new dimensions. Nostalgia conventions now feature Kit Ops, reunions where former crew demonstrate original Q systems on replica control panels. Retro tech festivals showcase working Diacom Turbo Boost modules built from salvaged parts, while fans debate whether Kit's voice lines are better remembered than Hasselhoff's on-screen charm. Even car makers reference Knight Rider in marketing, some promoting smart infotainment systems with a wink to Kit's red light sequence. Yet tonight's confession urges a more critical lens, to appreciate how narrative and engineering intertwined to create a beloved icon. Transitioning from myth to reality, Hasselhoff's confession has had ripple effects on his career trajectory. Formerly typecast as the unflappable hero, he now finds renewed interest for roles that embrace vulnerability and self-awareness. Casting directors note a spike in inquiries for Hasselhoff to portray mentors in dramas about the cost of fame, while producers for rebooted sci-fi series view his candor as an asset. Late-night hosts invite him to dissect iconic scenes, exploring the blend of bravado and artifice that made him relatable. The actor's personal brand, once synonymous with invincible cool, has matured into one of reflective authenticity. Despite the revelations, Knight Rider's fan base remains fiercely loyal. Merchandise sales for retro t-shirts and collectible die-cast cars have surged as fans embrace the show's storied past now tinged with backstage intrigue. Online communities organize Kit Build-a-thons, where hobbyists recreate working dashboard panels using Arduino microcontrollers, blending homage and hands-on learning. At conventions, cosplayers don racing jackets and drive replicas of Kit outfitted with functional LED strips synced to recorded audio. The cultural aftershock reveals that the allure of the myth often outweighs the disappointment of its dismantling, proof that stories, even flawed ones, can inspire innovation and community. Now, as we approach the final revelations, an urgent question emerges. What will become of Knight Rider's place in technology history? Museums exhibit original kit dashboards alongside early microcomputers, drawing curious crowds eager to compare prop design with programming milestones. As the saga unfolds, Knight Rider's confession stands as a critical reminder that behind every flash of light on screen lies a tapestry woven by human hands and hearts. This legacy continues to spark innovation and debate across generations. Even as the truth behind Kit's facade reshapes the Knight Rider legend, the series' cultural afterburn still ignites passion worldwide. In the months since Hasselhoff's confession, Knight Rider has taken on new life as both a camp classic and a cautionary tale. Streaming numbers for the original episodes have climbed by 45%, driven partly by viewers eager to spot every cue delay and earpiece flicker. Conventions dedicated to 80s sci-fi now schedule panels titled Myth vs. Machine, where fans debate whether the series inspired real technological breakthroughs or simply set impossible expectations. Legions of enthusiasts attend kit build-a-thons, collaborating online to recreate functional dash panels using microcontrollers, programming them to respond to voice commands. These grassroots projects not only honor the show's legacy, but also introduce budding engineers to electronics concepts, proof that even a staged thinking car can spark genuine innovation. Academic interest has surged as well. University courses on media ethics include Knight Rider case studies, examining how fictional portrayals of AI influenced public sentiment during the dawn of personal computing. Psychology classes analyze fan attachments to Kit as an early example of human-machine bonding, while engineering programs use the show's production schematics to teach constraint-driven design. Museums featuring technology retrospectives now display original kit-assemblies mounted alongside cutting-edge voice assistant prototypes, challenging visitors to compare human-operated cues with today's machine learning algorithms. A traveling exhibition, From Prop to Processor, opens this spring, tracing the arc from LED light sequences rigged by technicians to contemporary neural network-driven chatbots. Audiences leave with a deeper appreciation for both the artistry of illusion and the rigor of real engineering. Industry forums have seized on Knight Rider's revelation to reinforce transparency in marketing emerging technologies. Tech companies now frequently publish white papers detailing the limits of their AI demos, citing the Kit confession as a turning point in consumer skepticism. Conferences like CES and Mobile World Congress hold panels on responsible hype, inviting speakers to explore how media-driven expectations can stall progress when prototypes fail to match on-screen promises. Hasselhoff himself appeared at a recent tech summit to share his perspective. "We entertained you with a car that pretended to think. The world has changed. Now let's celebrate the machines that actually do." His keynote drew standing ovations, illustrating how vulnerability and candor can rebuild trust between celebrities, technologists, and the public. Meanwhile, entertainment producers ponder reviving Knight Rider in a form that acknowledges its own history of illusion. Scripts under development propose a meta-series in which a modern-day developer unearths original production logs and uses them to build a genuine AI prototype, merging nostalgia with cutting-edge research. Hasselhoff is in talks to cameo as himself, an aging star haunted by past glorifications, mentoring a new protagonist determined to prove that a car can truly think. Such reboots face the challenge of satisfying diehard fans while avoiding the pitfalls of overselling futuristic capabilities. Yet the very existence of these projects attests to Knight Rider's enduring allure and capacity for reinvention. Across social platforms, fan communities remain fiercely protective of the show's spirit. Subreddits and Discord servers buzz with affectionate memes, Kit delivering a sarcastic affirmative when asked about the AI's authenticity, or Hasselhoff quipping, "Trust me, I was guessing too." Cosplayers sport LED-laden jackets and custom headsets that blink in sync with repurposed dialogue clips. Enthusiasts host live-stream marathons followed by live commentary, highlighting the production's ingenuity even as they poke fun at its technical shortcuts. This blend of admiration and playful derision keeps Knight Rider alive as both an object of nostalgia and a conversation starter about the blurred line between fiction and reality. At the same time, Hasselhoff's career has embraced this duality. He accepted a recurring guest role on a contemporary sci-fi drama as a washed-up AI pioneer, delivering self-referential jokes about legacy code. Streaming platforms feature docuseries where he revisits kit replicas built by fans, exploring how each person reinterprets the car's legacy. In interviews, he underscores the value of storytelling, how myth-making engages imaginations even when factual accuracy falls short. Young creators cite his candor as inspiration to pursue projects that balance spectacle with substance. Learning from Knight Rider's blend of artifice and aspiration, AS anticipation builds for the final chapter in this saga. One question remains. What does Knight Rider's confession teach us about the power and peril of myth? In our final section, we'll explore the enduring lessons of a story that promised artificial sentience but delivered genuine human inspiration. We'll examine how transparency can coexist with wonder, how revealing the man behind the mask can deepen rather than diminish fandom, and why, even when a lie is laid bare, its spark can galvanize progress. Join us next as we ride into the concluding stretch of this remarkable journey. Tonight, the truth of Knight Rider's illusion has settled like a dust cloud after a high-speed chase, leaving the world to reckon with what remains when the facade peels away. As we reach this final turn in our journey, three powerful lessons emerge. Lessons about myth and memory, about the art of storytelling, and about the delicate dance between wonder and reality. First, we learn that myths can outlast facts. Kit's true intelligence wasn't microchips or machine learning. It was human ingenuity in service of a compelling narrative. Yet viewers still remember the thrill of that red scanner light, as if it sprang from genuine consciousness. In a way, the myth achieved its own kind of truth. It taught generations to believe that technology could empower good, that a car and driver could form an unbreakable bond. Even in confession, the legend endures because the emotions it stirred, hope, excitement, empathy, were authentic, regardless of the mechanics behind them. Second, transparency can deepen, not diminish, our engagement. When David Hasselhoff stood before the cameras and admitted the elaborate charade, many braced for disappointment. Instead, fans rallied behind him. They felt valued by his candor and curious about the craftsmanship they'd never seen. That revelation transformed passive consumption into active exploration. Online forums buzzed with technical dissections and creative homages. Rewatch parties adopted a new lens. Viewers cheered equally for every snapped cue wire and every earpiece prompt. In admitting the artifice, Knight Rider unlocked fresh appreciation for the human hands that built its illusion. Third, stories shape our technological aspirations. The gap between Knight Rider's scripted AI and today's real-world voice assistants highlights how narrative influences innovation. Developers who grew up hearing Kit's affirmative now chase genuinely conversational algorithms. They recognize the seductive pull of fiction and strive for prototypes that match or surpass the promises of pop culture. As tech companies launch smart cars and self-driving shuttles, they tread a fine line. Build too slowly, and audiences lose faith. Promise too boldly, and they risk a backlash when reality fails to match fantasy. Knight Rider's confession reminds engineers that myth can inspire breakthroughs, but unmet expectations carry their own costs. These insights converge in a final reflection. Genuine magic lives at the nexus of artifice and authenticity. Kit's mind was scripted, yet the joy of watching Knight Rider did not hinge on true AI. It came from the chemistry between actor and prop, the tension of high-stakes chases, and the hope that no villain could outrace morality itself. When the curtain pulls back, the performance remains remarkable in its design, in the way every cue, cut, and line wove together to create a captivating world. That crafted comfort is its own form of marvel, a reminder that skilled storytelling transforms raw materials into emotional experiences that resonate long after the credits roll. Now, as fans carry on with homemade builds, ethical debates, and streaming marathons, they honor both the fiction and the reality that gave birth to it. Knight Rider's legacy is alive in every aspiring engineer who flashes LEDs in a homemade dashboard, in every child who hears an echo of Kit's tone in a voice assistant saying, "Hello, how can I help you?" The world stands on the shoulders of that playful deception, poised to shape a future where technology's promises and its limits are understood in equal measure. That we return to the image of David Hasselhoff and that iconic Trans Am. The man and the machine may never have been the crime-fighting duo they claim to be, but for 40 years, they taught us to imagine a world where vehicle and human could collaborate in ways that transcended ordinary bonds. Tonight's confession changes the record, but it does not erase the spark that set our hearts racing every time Kit uttered, "Go, Michael, go." Instead, it reframes the spark as a product of human creativity, a flicker ignited by skilled hands and inventive minds rather than silicon cores. In that reframing, the magic endures, and perhaps that is the ultimate lesson. Even when a lie is exposed, its power to inspire can remain undeniably real.